Welcome back to Jacob's Books Corner, where I'm Jacob, and today we're going to be talking about Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo, specifically the Six of Crows duology. I am about to go into a spoilery fashion talking about both these books. Spoiler alert, I don't love them as much as I loved other books, but that's fine. You know, maybe that's the video you want to hear. I don't know. But yeah, Six of Crows follows the dregs. 6 characters. We have Jasper, we have Inja, Nina, Matthias, Kaz. I don't know if the one character, I don't want to say he's in here and then be wrong and then it's spoiled something. You know what I mean? A convict for the first revenge, a sharpshooter. Okay, Jasper. Oh, yeah, okay. And Waylon. There we go. I wanted to double check. And this follows them as they take on the heist for the Ice Fortress to get back a drug or a person. I can't remember if it's a person or if it's the actual drug itself to bring back to a wealthy buyer so they can get a big payout. These are 6 people who are pretty much corrupt and do pretty horrible things on a daily basis. And it's very interesting to read from. It's very different from anything else in the Grishaverse that I've read. Now, of course, I've only read 5 books in the Grishaverse. Yeah, let's jump into my spoilery thoughts, as I don't really have anything else for my non-spoiler review. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys do, just have fun. Okay, all right, we're gonna go do that. My first update for spoilers for Six of Crows. I am this far the way into it. I want to say it's about halfway through. Truly don't know though. I don't know how long. It's a little under halfway. Like, we're gonna say like 46%. On Goodreads, I thought it was halfway, so I just put myself at the 50% mark. I'm in chapter 18. What are my thoughts and opinions so far of Six of Crows? I really like the idea behind it. I really like the thought work that's also put behind it. I also really like enjoying and kind of exploring the world. That map would have been so helpful while reading this at work. I didn't have it. This was a group called... It calls a group, okay? It follows a group. I'm bad at this. Nice to meet you, if you're new here. And it follows 6 different characters. Kaz, Jasper, Nina, Inja, Matthias, Nina, oh, Joyce. There you go. Pretty sure that's all our 6 protagonists I just mentioned right there. Hopefully so. Hopefully I did a good job with that. And it's written in 3rd person, which is weird. One of the favorite things about the first trilogy, which is Shadow and Bone, which I'm not going to talk about explicitly here, is that the only part of those books are the beginning and after parts, which are the prologues and epilogues of the book. Everything else is written in 1st person. I decided to pick this as an audiobook, and one could say this was probably a choiceable decision. Each character is voiced by a different, voice actor, and each character has their own chapter, essentially. So, for instance, chapter 18 is Kaz, and then there's several Kaz chapters or whatever. And the voice actor who's voicing Kaz reads his whole chapter. I was kind of hoping more it was a mix, it was Davy Jones and the Six, where they were kind of jumping in between, you know, their lines of dialogue. That's not the case here. Would have been cooler. I think it would have been a better experience as well. But that's besides the point. Not important here. The story follows 6 group of people. Kaz is recruited to go get a serum from what they call the Ice Court. This requires 6 groups of people, 6 different people, all ranging from different abilities. I think there is one Grisha on the team, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Nina is a Grisha. And at the beginning of the book, we learned that there is this serum that is going around that can superpower a Grisha. Super duper power a Grisha. It's a pretty cool sequence. This guy, it's actually kind of a sad sequence, but it's also pretty cool. This guy cuts his hand, is forced to cut his hand. The healer comes in, heals it, and it is done again after the healer has the serum inside her. She doesn't even have to look. She just heals it right away, which is fucking phenomenal. Where was that 2 years ago in this world? She also can control people's minds and stuff, which is a new thing, never been done before in a Grisha. So talking about the world itself, like I said, I'm not going to really talk about the events that happen in Grisha Trilogy, but I was kind of expecting this to be much more like a happier, go-looking world with the events of that. Maybe Rothika, which is where this is set. I think maybe that's the safe zone, essentially, is the answer here. So where they're at, where the book does start, which is in Ketterdam, it's not safe. It's the worst part of the world. It seems like. I'm sure we'll get to worse. The 6 group of people are there. Some of them are convicts. Some of them are people that got paid out of jail. And my main issue with the story is I really like the heist stuff. I think it's all written extremely well. Of course, Lee Bardugo is a phenomenal writer. Not doubting that in my mind. But my main issue is I'm not attached to the characters yet. So for the rest of the book, or actually after I get done working out this evening, I'm going to sit down, read along with my audiobook. To see if I can get into the characters, that is the plan. Because I really want to get to know these characters so I can get attached to them. So when Crooked Kingdom comes in and wrecks me, I can be wrecked properly and not like kinda wrecked. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other shit that happened. Matthias and Nina have some type of background that we don't really know. He's infatuated with her, she's infatuated with him, but he also hates her for whatever he did, whatever she did. But he also wants to fuck her because it's like we say he wants to fuck her without saying he wants to fuck her. Yeah, it's a whole thing. You know what I mean? There's a part in here where I thought he said boner and he didn't. And I think it's like brushed or something. Weird. I know. Is that everything? I think that's everything, guys. That's my first update, spoiler update for Crooked Kingdom. I mean, for Six of Crows. I heard Six of Crows was a masterpiece. So me walking into this and not thinking it's a masterpiece makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I got wrong. Maybe Crooked Kingdom's like the best. Is this like the best sequel of all time? Is that what this is? To be honest with you, I don't think anything can top Shadow of Bone. That's like one of my favorite first books of a trilogy of all time. Now, like, it's phenomenal. The Wicked King is like one of my favorite second books of a series. So Crooked Kingdom, which is technically a final book, it's a duology, I don't really know, okay? I've also heard Wrath of Scars, or whatever that fucking book is called, is phenomenal, so maybe she tops herself, that'd be great. Who knows? Also, you know, this is very interesting because the world itself it feels very detached to the Grishaverse. So maybe that's also why I'm having this like weird thing. Knowing that it's set in that universe, but also not really feeling like it's there. Could be fucking with my mind. I could blame it on that as well. That's my update for you guys. I'll talk to you guys when I read more. So I can't really say that my thoughts have changed about Six of Crows. I think it's still not my favorite thing I've ever read. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking this is going to be like a 3.5 to maybe a 4. My biggest issues is, one, the characters. I'm just now starting to really like them, and I only have probably like 150 pages left of the book, which is disappointing, obviously. And then also, we got to like some really cool moments, like when they're breaking in, and then, you know, you get to see the plan come into action, to the ice fort, but then we backtrack, and then we get to learn all about these backstories. And I would have much preferred the first like 2 parts of the book being the setup of the characters instead of like jumping into this world that we don't know. Because, for instance, certain characters are directly tied into things. Like there's several characters from the previous series that have now been mentioned by name, who are, when would people say, like, goes against what certain people live by. We also get talked about the war that happened after the books, and I just wish all that stuff had been more explained than what Leigh Bardugo decided to do. Also, I have to say, I think I like Leigh Bardugo's first person writing better than her third person. It's not as strong to me, and it seems a little bit more all over the place than her first person, which seemed very grounded in my opinion. What else is there? I have a really strong feeling that Crooked Kingdom could really come in clutch, and to be honest with you, this could turn into like a 4 with the ending. And I still have the ending to go. We're just now getting caught up on all the mysteries. So that's where we're at right now. Just wanted to come in here and update you. Alright guys, I wanted to update you guys on my Six of Crows. I had no idea where I was at when I updated you last. It's also been a few days since I finished this. My memory's a little foggy. Let's see if I can't recite. I know the ending. Inja gets taken by Waywind's dad for experimental purposes, I want to say. I did really like Matthias's overarching character development, him and Nina, whereas the first shift in the book that I was like, oh, I can get behind this. Cats and Ninja's there, but it's like, it's not my favorite thing in the world, so I'm like, I'm not even like really worried about it. Matthias and Nina, I love them. They're cute. Well, it's toxic, but I like it. And then I also really like Jasper and Waywind's relationship, and I'm really liking how in Crooked Kingdom, which we'll get to, there's some chapters by him as well, which I'm really enjoying. So let's talk about the book as a whole. I didn't really think this worked for me. The heist stuff was really cool. The action sequences I thought were really well choreographed. The writing here obviously was extremely strong, but I think it could have been stronger. And also, I feel like I understand what the point of having all the different point of views and different chapters by different point of views and stuff. One, it's an overarching story. The heist itself is several different missions and stuff, and so each character has their own, like, what they're supposed to be doing. And so the concept here is phenomenal. I get it, and I would have probably written the same way. I just don't like Leigh Bardugo's third-person writing. And I've seen this done with a few other authors that I've read before, where their first-person writing is majestic, and their third-person writing is much more uneven. And that's kind of how I felt here, because every time I've ever read Leigh Bardugo in its first person, it's beautiful, it's great, it's phenomenal, and I love it. But this is her first outing for me as a third person reader, and I don't really like it. I'm just not a huge fan, to be honest with you, and I really just, I don't know, all the characters didn't really pop for me until like the last 100 pages either. As I finally found out why I thought I kind of liked him. Nina, I think, is a very likable person, and I really liked the whole commentary on Grishas in general. I thought that was kind of handled pretty well, and then using internment camps and stuff, I thought was also really handled really well. well. I also really like the world. Obviously, the Grisha world in general I really enjoy, and so I like seeing the darker parts of the Grisha verse, but also like seeing some of the lighter parts, and I think there was a good mixture of the two. I think another problem I had with the book was the pacing and or like how the book was like structured. I think it could have been structured better. Ironically, I didn't get a lot of character development in the first like 200, 300 pages where most people said they did. Maybe I just didn't catch on. Maybe I just didn't really like it as much. I don't really know. It wasn't vibing for me. The ending was really strong. I liked the fact that it jumped us directly into the next mystery and it made me want to pick up Crooked Kingdom. So I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I know that ultimately I did not love this. I wanted to give it a 5. But what I've been told is what I don't love here. It should be corrected here, if I'm not mistaken. Like, the red is better? I don't know. Because I think this is, like, supposedly one of the best sequels of all time. And I've already read that. She's sitting down there. It's already existed. When I heard, like, that right there also already exists. I don't know. Anyway. So with Crooked Kingdom in particular, I am far 50 pages into it, and I've not picked it up since I started it, which was a few days ago. It was like Saturday, I think, is when I started it. Friday was when I started it. Actually, I really liked the opening of this. I like Waywin's character a lot better. Like I said, I also like going into his house and stuff. I thought that was really cool. I really like the heisty stuff that's going on right now. It was a little confusing because I thought Nina was the one that got grabbed at the end of the last book. Obviously, it was not. And so that was a bit kind of grasping that idea that it wasn't her, since my whole brain was like, oh, it's totally her. It's totally not. So other than that, I really like the opening. I think it's much stronger and much better. And it could be like a Cassie Clare thing. I think the Cassie Clare books is like the third book's the best. The second book's great, but it's the third book that gets me. And so these only have 2. So we're going to hope that this is much better, you know? And for King of Wolves, I already like Nikolai as a character. So I have a strong feeling I'm already going to like that series. And so I'm not really worried about them. And I'll get to them eventually. Alright, I'm coming in here to give you guys my final update on Crooked Kingdom, and then we'll wrap up this video. But with Crooked Kingdom, I ended up giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. My biggest problems were maybe the first third of the book, and then also the last chapter of the book. Is that enough to warrant me to say it's a 4.5? I don't know, say what you want, but that's what I gave it. That's what my thoughts were. I really liked it much better than Six of Crows. It was a much better, well-paced story. I liked the conflict. I liked the fact that there was an actual death with Matthias. It really hurt my soul because Matthias and Nina became one of my favorite characters and one of my favorite couples in this universe, and so like that hurt. I also really liked the endings between Jasper and Waywin. I think that really worked out really nicely and honestly in my favor, and I really just support gay couples. I also really want to keep in mind that everybody should keep in mind that Jasper is not gay. He is bisexual or he is pansexual. Nothing explicitly, I don't think, was on the page, but he has stated both female and men before, and I'm sure he probably wouldn't be against other stuff based on his point of view. And I just think it's very interesting to keep in mind as the TV show gets bigger and bigger, and Jasper is a gay character in that, and it's kind of hinted at. It's not explicitly said, I don't think, either. I could be wrong. I don't know if he has a love interest. I've not watched it yet. Now I will. I'll be watching it. Actually, with Crooked Kingdom, I also really like the final heist, them taking down Pika, or Pekka, whatever. I also liked how his wife eventually did betray him, which is really nice because, like, she was, like, 15 and pregnant with his child, which just disturbs me. This book was really dark in a lot of places, which I also, guess what, really liked. I also really enjoyed all the characters except for Kaz. I hate Kaz. I know this is going to be such a, like, a opinion. Most people are like, you're wrong. Kaz is phenomenal. I hate Kaz. I don't like Kaz. I don't like what... There's a lot of things Kaz does in here that doesn't make sense. Well, that makes sense toward his character. The ending for Kaz, I thought was so out of left field that I didn't see it coming, and I was kind of mad at it. I never really did support Kaz and Inja's relationship, and so with that wrap up and stuff I didn't really like. Then there is that little thing at the very end where Inja comes in and gets revenge on Pico, which I found to be very interesting, and that does make me wonder if certain characters, because I know Inja is in King of Scars duology. I know she plays a role in it in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what shape or form, but I know she does have some type of role. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited to go back into a much more, like, Grisha-centric, not so much Ketterdam. I know Nikolai is over in Rothika and stuff, and so I'm really excited to go back there and just to be with some characters that I already know and already love and adore. This was just a weird one-off. I told my friend a few weeks ago, maybe a few days ago, what is time, that I would want to go back and reread these in a year from now after I'm put myself away from Shadow and Bone, the Grisha trilogy, because I think they're just so different from one another. That's my review of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. If you guys enjoyed, please let me know and give me a big fat thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below, hit subscribe button. I'll see you all next time for another video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.